Hi everyone, nice to see you again. Welcome back to Pacific Front channel. Today, we're gonna discuss important lessons that can be taken from the war in Ukraine. I hope you are not bored yet because I'm talking about Ukraine for 2 weeks in a row. But entering the second week of the war, challenges and problems both armies face in an open war began to show. And I feel this is an important lesson for Indonesia to improve our defense capability in case we face a similar fate in the future. So, without further ado, these are some lessons I found from the war in Ukraine. As I mentioned in my community post a few days ago, logistics is very important in war. This message is always reminded by the foremost military strategists from time to time. John J. Pershing said it during World War, and Sun Tzu also said it more than 2,000 years ago. And the examples of the logistics, or lack of it, can be found many times throughout history. Rommel must stop his advance into France because his supply columns couldn't keep up with his combat forces. The Japanese troops must retreat from Guadalcanal because the Imperial Japanese Navy failed to bring enough supplies for their troops. And now, Russian forces must abandon their tanks simply because they ran out of fuel. From these cases, it is clear that either you are the attacking side or the defenders, logistics play an important role and can turn the tides of war. How about Indonesia? For resources such as fuel, for example, according to Indonesia's Oil and Gas Regulatory Agency or BPH Migas, Indonesian oil reserve for gasoline and diesel fuel stored on our storage facility will only last for 21.27 days if we are involved in a large-scale war. This is worsened by Indonesia's position as a fuel net importer and the absence of national fuel reserve. For the ammunition, although we can make small and medium caliber rounds locally, only Pindad who has the capability and facility to produce it. And here's where another problem lies. Producing ammunition is one thing, transporting it to the soldiers who need it is another. From what I see, Indonesian armed forces still lack means of transportation to deliver these resources like men, fuel, foods, and ammunition to the area of operation quickly and efficiently. We talked about it many times in my previous videos. Our military doesn't have standardized truck to support all of their needs. We still don't have enough cargo and transport aircraft to send personnel and materials, and most of our transport vessels are obsolete. We can imagine how challenging it will be to resupply and reinforce our regional command if one of our territory is being attacked. Hopefully, the government and the armed forces can solve this problem soon by building national fuel reserve in at least 5 of our biggest islands, buying more trucks for the supplies and logistic corps, buying more cargo aircraft, and building more transport vessels. The second one is about the role of drones in warfare. If the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict showed us the effectiveness of combat drones, the invasion of Ukraine provided us with a clearer picture on how it played out in an open war against an army who has one of the most advanced air defense systems in the world. And once again, drones prove its worth. The Bayraktar TB2 in particular takes center stage in this conflict. It shows us its effectiveness in penetrating the Russian column and destroying their vehicles. This drone is so popular, even the Ukrainian made a song about it. I guess right now, the Bayraktar stock price is growing. Then what lesson we can take about drones, you might ask? First, the use of drones is no longer a matter of choice, but it has become a necessity. When fighter aircraft and air force bases become the main target of attack in the early hours of invasion, characteristic of drones as aerial assets that are easy to conceal and operate from unexpected locations can provide its owner with an asymmetric deterrence against a superior opponent. By having a sizable number of drones, especially combat drones, one country can have an aerial strike capability with relatively lower cost and lower risk. But drone warfare is not only about who has the most drones in their inventory, but also who has the capability to deny and destroy enemies' drone. One reason why the Bayraktar drone performed well in Nagorno-Karabakh and Ukraine is because the opponent didn't have an effective measure to counter it. We also talked about it in my previous video on how bad our air defense capability is. Most of them are old and still manually operated. Against fast, low-visibility drones like the Bayraktar, it will be extremely difficult for human eyes to detect its whereabouts, let alone to shoot it down. Modernization for the obsolete anti-aircraft gun must be a priority given the fast-growing threat of combat drones. Our Starstreak air defense system is one of the best equipment we have to provide tactical air defense against drones and helicopters at battalion level. Hopefully, every battalion in the Army and Marine can be covered with this system as well. If shooting down a drone with a missile is still expensive, the other solution is procuring the self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. One with a combination of cannon and missile is preferable. South Korea's K-30BH is a good choice in my opinion. What's your pick? And the last lesson I found from Ukraine is how useless obsolete vehicles are against modern military equipment. The ATGM, in this case the NLAW and Javelin missiles, proves very effective against old Russian armor. Their lightweight, easy to carry, and easy to operate characteristics makes them the ultimate weapons of choice for Ukraine guerrilla operation against Russia. The BMP, BTR, and even tanks with explosive reactive armor and sandbag roof were turned into scrap metal by this ATGM. The condition of Russian armored vehicles is similar in most Indonesian armed forces unit, especially the Marine Corps, where they still operate vehicles from the 60s which lack modern components as their main landing forces. During an exercise, it's probably fine because no one will shoot back at us. But in a real conflict, the enemy will throw everything they have to stop us. And these vehicles won't even be able to reach the beach if we fight against peer adversaries. Do they have plans to modernize their landing vehicles? No. The last modernization plan I heard was in 2020 for 79 BT-3 from Russia. It won't happen. And last month, they were interested in procuring the surplus AAV-7 from the USMC. Other than that, they haven't made any big moves yet. And lastly, we still lack anti-tank and anti-armor capability in our military units. The Army does have the Javelin and NLAW missiles in their inventory, but the numbers are too low for a military the size of the Indonesian Army. In 2012, the Army bought 180 Javelin missiles, but the Command Launch Unit or CLU for the Javelin is only 25. And for the NLAW, it's reported that they bought 600 launchers in the same time period. According to the Indonesian Army official Facebook page, currently they have 94 infantry battalions. This includes battalions in the Army Strategic Command and Regional Command. If we incorporate the total numbers of ATGM we have into the Army's command and structure, that means each battalion is only equipped with 6 NLAW missiles and 25 lucky battalions can get the Javelin with 7 missiles. I think you all agree that this is far from enough. And we also have to understand where this ATGM is being used. In the Indonesian Army structure, all heavy weapons, including heavy machine gun, mortar, and I'm pretty sure with the ATGM as well, are placed in the support companies. So it's a little bit further back from the front line, and it can only be used by battalion commander's order. Can you imagine how long it will take for the frontline soldiers to request ATGM support from the battalion HQ? Even worse, I never heard the Army request for another ATGM procurement. So, those 180 Javelins and the 600 NLAW are all we have. There you have it, some lessons I found from the war in Ukraine. Do you have anything to add apart from what I said? Share with us in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. If you find this video informative and useful, please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.